Welcome to Bold Beginnings, where we teach and show you how God works in our careers, what His purpose is for us, and why we should trust Him in everything that we do. My name is Rita Wilson.
And I am Sandra Fernandez.
And we are here with MARSHA Crowder. How are you, MARSHA?
Oh, I'm great. I'm so glad to be here.
Thank you.
Love
Thank
you both.
Yes,
you
we
both.
love you too. Thank you for joining us. Can you just tell us a little bit about yourself, and then what do you like to do for fun?
Oh, okay. Well, I am MARSHA Crowder, and I am married to Pastor Mike Crowder, Reverend Dr. Mike Crowder, I should say. We have been in ministry pretty much our entire life. Before ministry, I was real involved in real estate. I've loved every area of the real estate market, the mortgage market. I was a young 21-year-old real estate broker. I never wanted to sell. I loved the management part of real estate. I loved the loan part, the title part. So I've done all of that. And then went into full-time ministry, marrying a pastor. Mm-hmm. So that has been my career since that time. There was a period of time, 6 years, 7 years, I was an event planner.
That's fun.
It was fun.
I can totally see you being
yeah.
an event planner.
I was an event planner for a large Amway distributor.
Wow.
And
cool.
they would do events all over the country. And so I was kind of the planner of all of that. I did little seminars and big events, and that was a lot of fun.
That's awesome.
But then when the church got so busy, then I quit and dedicated myself full time. I am a grandmother to 11.
Oh, wow.
They range from age 23 to 1.
Oh, wow.
Everything in between.
That means you're very busy.
Very busy and very broke because they are very expensive little critters. And we have 5 children. And I love people. I love women. Women are my heart. I think women are undervalued a lot, but we carry such a huge load of responsibility in the home, outside the home. We are kind of the thermostat of everything.
Yep.
And so I really value women. And for fun, love to travel. Getting ready to go on a 21-day cruise to Norway and Sweden and Iceland and Germany, and so really excited about that. But traveling is our fun thing to do. Love to take the motor home and just me and him go away, and me and him and the dog.
And a dog.
Our doggy. Go and just kind of recharge. We do that in the summertime. So my grandchildren are pretty much my life.
I love that.
I'm going to leave on Saturday and go spend a week with the 1-year-old. Yeah. So
What's been your favorite place that you've traveled to?
Oh my goodness, there's so because everything is so different.
Yeah.
Bora Bora was probably
Stop it, Marsha.
just
That is
unbelievable.
my dream place.
Yeah.
Anybody
Beautiful.
listening that knows me
about
will
that.
know that Bora Bora is like.
It's where she wants to go.
the
gonna
hut
go there.
out over the water with the
Yes.
glass bottom. Perfect.
Yeah.
I
okay.
love that.
Yeah. It's probably
See, this is another confirmation.
I love Bora Bora. You need to go to Bora Bora.
probably one of my highlight favorite. It's just everything is so different. Alaska's gorgeous. Love Alaska. Love Florida is our happy place. Destin's our happy place. But we just love to travel everywhere, see the different places. But go to Bora Bora if you can.
Yes.
I love that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I love that. So we are going to just be asking you some questions. We're just going to be asking you like how God has led you in your life and and just fun things like that.
Okay,
And
I love
it. Yes, I'm excited. So with that being said, so what does it mean to be led by God?
Well, my life verse, my very favorite verse, is in all your ways submit to Him, and He will direct your path. And that to me is what following God means. That's what, if we, we don't really like the word submit too much, but if we will in every part of our life submit it to God, He directs every area, every path, every decision, every action we take will be divinely directed and guided by him. But it comes with that word that we kind of rebel against, submit. But it's such an important word in our life. If we're going to submit to somebody, it's just part of life. We are going to submit. And so no better person to submit to than God.
That's true.
And let him just direct every part of our life.
I love that. I love that. I love that. This is going to be a good one.
I know.
Are you ready? How do I know God's purpose for my life?
God's purpose, in my opinion, comes about, again, through that word submission. God, Jeremiah 29:11, for I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. And now I know the meaning of that verse. He's talking to the exiles of Israel coming out of Babylon. They've been exiled for 400 years. That is his promise to them. And so I don't want to take that out of context, but it very much applies to us today. He knows the plans he has for us, and it's good. Doesn't mean it's easy, but it's good. And if we believe that and we let God direct that, then that is following God. That is allowing him. Like Pastor Rob said earlier, if you're going to make God laugh, make a plan. Because the scripture says the plans of man are many, but God directs our steps. And that only applies when we are totally submitted to him and want him. So when it comes to our purpose number one is, for every Christian, for every believer, our number one purpose is to be obedient to God. And so if we want to know his purpose for our life, we're obedient to him. And then whatever we do, that is his purpose for us.
Right.
We try to make it a big mystical thing. And God's got to reveal my purpose. No, you've got to take an obedient step today. And that leads to God's purpose. Being obedient, God is more concerned with our obedience than anything else, because that is how he works. It's how he orders. It's how he guides. It's how he opens doors. It's how everything comes to be through obedience. The number one word, submission and obedience, and they go together.
I love that.
Women struggle probably more with obedience than men because we've been abused in that area in the past. You're a beautiful black woman. You probably even struggle more with that than other people because of the past history of abuse. And anytime we have been taken advantage of, anytime we've been abused in a situation, we're very hesitant in that area. So submission sounds like a negative, like, you're not going to tell me what to do.
Yes, absolutely.
We rebel against that word, but it comes from a past of a place of hurt, where with God, submission only leads to joy, and submission only leads to prosperity. And direction and guide. Everything we really, really want in life can only come through obedience and submission. Right. And we will never, ever be betrayed in that relationship with him.
Marsha, how did you know from the moment of, since you said that you loved real estate, how did you know to transition into ministry from something that you were really enjoying and you really found
really good
pleasure
question,
in?
Sandra. It's a really good question. And I think, again, it comes back to the steps of the daily steps. His word, I believe it's in Psalm 37, the steps of the righteous are ordered of him. And so, because we want to know, I think I heard Rob say that, we want to know next year. We want to know, what's my 5-year plan? Girl, with God, you probably don't know a 5-year plan.
Yes.
Because he doesn't say he will tell us a mile down the road or 10 years down. He says the steps of the righteous are ordered of God. And so being obedient, I started working in real estate as a junior in high school. And my after school job, my summer, loved everything about real estate except the selling part. I didn't like that. And so I just continued to follow that. And then my husband went to Bible college. And then I could just feel transition coming. And so wasn't the least bit surprised when we both felt this season is over for us.
Yeah.
You know, you're for us, the climate of our interests just began to change.
Okay.
And it was more about wanting to be at church, wanting to be involved in church, and like, you know what, we need to be making some money over here, you know.
Yeah.
But that was our interest really began to shift.
Okay.
And so I think that that's how we can know where God's not fickle in any way. He is not, he's not irresponsible. And so to say, okay, I've got a new burr under my saddle right now, I'm going to switch gears. Well,
Right.
it probably isn't going to happen that way. But transition does happen and change does come. I still love real estate. I love my one of our sons is a mortgage broker, and he and I can talk for hours about the mortgage market and interest rates and how economy, I still love it.
Yes.
But it's not my first love.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
That's awesome.
That's awesome because I think sometimes we find our identity in what we're doing.
Absolutely.
And then it's hard to let that go and grow from that and transition into another area that we're being
Right.
called in, or when we stop liking, or if something was always our goal,
Right.
and then all of a sudden it's like, I don't really think I want that. Sometimes it's hard to almost accept it. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Uh-huh.
So then you start striving for something that you thought you wanted, but
Right.
in the end, you probably already have grown, but
Right.
your identity is still there. Yeah.
And people can get kind of confused too when things get hard in a particular career. They can tend to think, oh, God must be moving me out of here.
Okay, speak on that, Marsha.
I'm like, you better preach.
Because that's not necessarily true.
I love it.
Hard means growth.
Yes.
Oh, come on.
So
Yep.
if we're in a struggle in a particular area, it may be God moving you. It might be, but it just may be He's wanting to grow you.
Right.
Yeah.
And, everybody cannot be in full-time ministry. That's not His plan.
Right.
We need to be obedient in the career we're feel called to, in the area we love and we want. I've always said, as an old saying, but work should be something you want to do every day, even if
Yeah.
you didn't get paid.
Yeah.
You love it that much.
Right.
And I feel bad for people who just get up every day and they're just miserable because the weekend's over and they have to go to work.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't find that fulfilling.
Right.
Should love what we do even in the hard time, because there's going to be hard. We're, as Rob alluded to, we're in a very hard season right now. A lot of struggle, a lot of pain, a lot of things aren't fun and easy
Yep.
all the time right now. But we know we're exactly where we're supposed to be, even though we are getting to an age that transition is going to come. We are.
I love that.
I'm 70 years old. God, I don't know how
look-
that ever
and you
happened.
look
Flawless. Yep, you look amazing, Marsha.
Thank you. But I'm like, how in the world did we get this old already? It feels like,
Yeah.
and I don't know if I'm immature or if I'm young at heart. I'll accept the young at heart. Okay?
I love that. I love that.
the
Young
young
at
at
heart.
Yeah, I'm young at heart, but I just enjoy life, and we want to continue doing what we're doing because we love it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's really impactful.
It
Yes.
is impactful. Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. Thank you. How do I know God's purpose for my life?
Well, that's pretty much what we were just talking about. We know His purpose by being obedient in the small things, in the everyday things, in the guidance that we feel. That God's purpose is for us to be, number one, His obedient to whatever He's called us to do today. That is his purpose. Our number one purpose in life is to be holy as he is holy.
Yeah.
That's definitely not perfection, but to have a heart that wants to seek after him.
Right.
And that leads to our purpose. Like I said, it's not a mystical thing. He's not going to drop instantly something in our head that's going to go, this is your purpose. No, we're
Right.
going to walk today in obedience so that our purpose will be fulfilled.
Absolutely.
I feel like
love that.
keyword today.
Word today.
I love that. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep. Obeying God today.
today,
Yes.
this hour, this
Right.
moment.
Right.
Because, you know, and there are Christians who doesn't believe God is that intimately involved in our everyday life, our everyday decisions. I personally believe he's very much involved. Otherwise, why would he have said that the steps of the righteous are ordered of him?
Yeah.
If he's not that intimately involved. I want him to be that involved in my life.
Right.
I want him to be involved in the decisions I make, the choices I make. And you know, it's really interesting because we can go through a period of our life before we're totally committed to him, that we can make some pretty bad mistakes. We can make some pretty wrong choices. And that doesn't mean that when we submit our life to him and let him be Lord, not just our Savior, but our Lord, that he can take all of those bad choices and work it all together. The good still comes from that because we're his, and he does have a divine purpose. And he knew us before we were ever formed, whether we accepted him or not.
Right.
He knew us, and he knew the day would come when we would submit to him and allow that lordship so that his purpose, his overall purpose for our life could be fulfilled. So I don't get shaken up by people who've lived a life contrary to him and what he wants, because he is so big and so amazing to make that crooked path straight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He makes the crooked path straight. And I love it. I love it. Yeah.
I love that.
I love that you said that, because I think sometimes people are so far away from God that they think they can't come back
Absolutely.
to him, or he's not going to accept them. Why
Right.
now? Look at me. Look how messed
Yeah.
up I am. I've done all of these bad
Right.
things, so
Right.
let me just keep going. And
Right.
I think people need to understand that it really doesn't matter what you've done. He
Right.
is, his arms are always
They're
open.
open. And the forgiveness and the love, the acceptance. But yeah, but how he can completely turn a bad situation and use it, not just correct, but use that
Yeah.
for good. That to see the transformation in a person's life, wow.
Yeah.
You know, that in itself can do so much to lead someone else to him.
Right.
'Cause and if we have gone through times like that, if we've had bad experiences in life, if we don't use them to help other people, they're just nothing but a wasted experience.
Right.
Yes.
Because God can take anything and make it beautiful.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love that. I need to write that. God can take anything and make it beautiful. I love that. Does God choose our career path, or do we?
Well, I don't think God's near as interested in our career as he is in our obedience. And he puts within us talents. I mean, I would love to be a gifted musician. I would love to be able to sit at the keyboard and compose. I can play Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star if I really work at it. That's not my gift.
Yeah.
And so to try to, dictate what we should or shouldn't do, it's got to come out of our passions, out of our talents. What are we gifted at doing? You're in management. You're gifted in that. I'm a people person. I love people. You know, Sandra, you're very, very gifted at what you do, obviously. Very gifted. God gave those gifts. God gave those abilities.
Yes.
So is God interested in our career? Did he choose them? in a way, because He gave us our talents and our gifts.
I like that.
But it doesn't mean we're regimented to a particular career path, because I don't really think God cares.
What would you say to somebody that's kind of like, I don't have any talents?
That's a good one.
Like, I don't have any talents. This is all I know how to do in their career field or in their job that they're at. How do I even get to the point of even imagining to explore outside of what I'm doing now?
I think that comes from a lack of self-confidence. A lot of people settle way beyond what they have the privilege of doing. And there are some people that intellectually, physically, they aren't gifted in a lot of areas. And I love scripture that says, whatever your hand finds to do, do it with all of your heart. Do it as unto the Lord. And whatever, I don't know that there's any real insignificant jobs.
Right.
Because if you have chosen, you love cleaning and want to be a janitor and do it with all your heart. Pour yourself into it. A lot of times people settle for less than they could because they don't have the confidence to try. And
You're making me emotional.
I think
I need to bring a tissue box up there.
yeah, being willing to stretch yourself, to learn and to grow, but that has to come from an internal fortitude that you're willing to put yourself out there and try. But there is still nothing wrong with being the assembly line worker.
Right.
My sister has worked as an assembly production worker for, goodness, 30 some years. She doesn't love what she does, but she does it with everything she's got.
Yeah.
She gets awarded for, worker of the year. She gets all kind of awards. I personally think she could have done more with her life, but she's content.
Right.
So who's to say,
Right.
But I like to challenge people, be all you can be. Be more than you can be, because in ourselves, we don't have the ability to do anything. But with God, all things are possible.
Yes.
And He can stretch us and grow us and make us more than we possibly thought we could be.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I love that.
I love that.
Thanks.
And that leads into our next question, right? Does God guide us in our career choices? So, I thought that was great. So how is God working in your life right now?
Well, I'm in a kind of a transition phase. I have stopped being full-time at the church.
Okay.
I've turned my responsibilities over to Ashley. And she's doing an incredible job. She's so much more gifted in areas that I wasn't gifted in, that I'm not. I'm the people person. I am not the techie, hands-on. She can do anything. She can do anything. So it's been a hard transition for me because I don't really know my place. So it's kind of an awkward, weird place trying to go, okay, do I fit here? But what he's doing in my life is teaching me contentment. Paul says in Philippians, I have learned to be content. I've learned I've had much and I've had little. And in all circumstances, I've learned to be content.
I love that.
And that's what I'm working on right now, because I love to be busy. And when I'm not all that busy, I'm like,
What do I do with my life?
Yeah, what do I do? Am I of any value even? And I know that's ridiculous because I do know I am.
Right.
But it is that kind of transitional phase that I'm going through. So that's what he's really doing in me right now, working on my contentment and working on even my relationship with him, because I find it's requiring more trust than I've had to practice before. Because
like
you
that.
know when you're busy and you're just doing the thing,
Yeah.
you just keep doing the thing,
Yes.
and then when the thing isn't there, it's a trusting of, okay, God, what? Because He'll never be done with us.
Right.
He's
Right.
never going. There will never be a time in our life when we don't have a purpose, when we don't have value, we don't have something to offer. So right now I'm like, okay, what is that, God? What are you and I doing here?
Yes.
But I am also learning contentment.
I like that.
Learning contentment, learning to be okay to. I just so much love my women's Bible studies. And I go, God, don't ever take these from me because I
Amazing.
love.
I love it.
But what if He does? What if that season ends?
Right.
And then I'm going to have to find my value because, like you said, we put so much of our value in what we do.
Yeah.
And that's not where our value should come from.
Right. Absolutely.
And so I'm working, me and him are working on that, on where's my value.
Yeah.
Marsha, I'm interested to know what got you so passionate about women and working with women, and where does that love come from?
A lot of it comes from working with women who have been abused, children who've been neglected. I see women terribly undervalued. And a lot of that in the church world. I speak on Mother's Day occasionally, and there are times that men won't come if I'm speaking because I have no place. And according to them, I have no right to be teaching men. And that just makes me want to do it more. That little rebellion.
She's like, I'm
can't
doing
stop
it
her.
longer
You
now.
can't stop her.
You can go somewhere else because
Yeah.
But that in, what is the right word I'm even looking for? That inequity that I see put on women a lot I love women's hearts. I love what women go through. I think women are, I don't think the world, not only would they not exist because there would be no other people, but the world wouldn't even function nearly the way as well as it does without women. And so I find a lot of joy in seeing women come into their own, see women see their place and to see the value that they truly have, not just in the home, and that's an incredible privilege that as mothers that we get to experience. Can't imagine not being a mother.
Right.
And there are other women that they don't have that desire, and that's okay. That's okay. But we have been privileged to not just shape other people, but literally shape the world.
Yes.
Because we're passionate, we're compassionate, we are loving, nurturing. Where would we be without nurturing women in our life? I mean, can you imagine? I mean, there are some men who are nurturers, not a lot. That isn't a natural thing for them.
Right.
So I feel like we have been given so much privilege that I just love encouraging women in it, to embrace it, to allow it to grow and do whatever you want to do. We can do anything.
Yeah.
And so that's a lot of it.
I love that.
I was a single mom for a while. And so I have such a heart for single mothers.
Yeah.
The struggle is hard.
Yeah.
And so, sorry.
You're fine.
So that has developed over the
Yeah.
years. If I had a lot of money, I would just pour it into helping single mothers achieve the things they want, because they're held back so many times by responsibility.
Yeah.
They can't just do
Absolutely.
what they want to do because they have to do what they have to do.
Right.
And so I would love to just pour money, so much money into helping them get established in life so they can be what they truly want to be,
Right.
I love that.
not what they have to be.
I love
Yes.
that.
That's seriously my like.
This girl's passionate about women, so
Passionate.
she had to make sure. She
When I
asked.
first I don't know if you remember, but the retreat in Bear Lake, that's when I first got to like be in the room with you and like hear you speak and stuff. And I was just like,
We were just.
Oh, I love it.
I was like, wow.
It's amazing.
No, like I could definitely feel the love, and I love how God just put such a great heart for women, you know, and I believe that it's just such a great space to be able to gather all together and like to see all the women in that room and the breakthroughs that they went through,
Right.
and to just be there for one another and the relationships that were established. I thought that was like literally everything that
That was
I
life-changing
wanted
for
to
me.
do.
Oh, I'm so
yes,
glad
it
I
really
Very
did.
was.
life-changing.
Yeah.
It was so awesome. And
was amazing.
when she was saying like, "Oh, who should we interview?" I was like, "Marsha." I'm like, she's
Oh,
so
I'm glad.
awesome.
So honored.
But
So
just
honored.
hearing your
Love her.
story and all of that, like it's just so inspiring. And that was really my base of opening up a place
Yeah.
was the women. You know, I
Yeah.
was like,
Single moms.
I'm
Yeah.
so passionate about single moms, and we've had a lot of single moms that have worked here, and just being able to be there for one another when we're going through those moments of, you know, the battles, the insecurities, is this really gonna
Right.
work out? You know,
Right.
having a bad day parenting.
Right.
Parenting
Right.
is hard.
Parenting
And-
is so hard.
And it's just like the days where you feel like a super mom, and the days where you feel like a bad mom, and the days where you feel like I don't even know if I'm doing this right,
Right.
you know?
Right.
And even in the moments of being so lonely that you're like, am I going to find a partner one day? You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, is there going to be a time where this is like,
Right.
you know? And
I
so
do.
just having that support and being a support too
Right.
is just like, that's just awesome. So
That
when I
is-
saw that and when I heard you speak, I was like, wow.
Oh, I love
She's
that.
so amazing.
I do. I have a niece that I adore, and she's been divorced now for probably 5 years, and both of her parents died recently, and I'm like, you know, she calls me about, okay, I'm getting my roof replaced. Should I get this warranty? You know, because who do you talk to
Right.
when your parents are gone? You have no
Yes.
spouse. You feel so alone. And at lunch, I was just telling my husband about that. I'm like, I am her family.
Yeah.
You know, she doesn't have the husband
And
to
I
lean
did
on.
see that. I saw that so much from a lot of the women there, how you have been somebody that has been through their life and their journey, and you've taken on that role of, I'm here for you.
I'm
you know,
a
and
mom. I'll be
yes,
your
the
mom.
mama role. I
I'm
love
grandma
that.
now. Oh my gosh, I can be your grandma.
You are so loved.
You
You're
are.
so
You
loved.
are very loved.
You have a very welcoming and just inviting spirit. Just
such a
so
light.
sweet.
I pray
Yeah.
so. It's
Yes.
what I want. Yeah.
Amazing. I love it.
Yeah.
How is God leading you today? It's our last question.
Well, you know what? I think where he's leading me today is in my grandchildren. One of our sons is divorced, and his children are with their mom, and they don't go to church. They really, other than my husband and I, they have no godly influence. And so one of them, he's 14, and he asked me for a Bible. And I'm like, you don't have my grandson doesn't have a Bible? How is that even possible? So I included it in his Easter basket. And he called and he says, Nana, I watched a video that said I should start reading the Bible in Proverbs. Do you agree with that?
Aw.
And I said, I do agree with that. I think that's a great place to start. And he asked for a highlighter. And he said, I've been highlighting what stands out to me.
I love
And
that.
it really hit me today that's where I'm being used today. That next generation.
I love that.
Is how will they know?
Yeah.
You know, the scripture says, how will they know if there's no one to teach them?
Right.
And that's how I feel about younger women. I'm really, I'll let you know a secret. I'm really wanting to get a ministry started where us older women are taking on a younger one to mentor. And
love
establishing some type
love
of
that.
a program in our church that, because how do they know how to do it?
Right.
You know, like you said,
Absolutely.
parenting. How in the world does anyone know how to be a
Yes.
parent?
Yes.
Because it's so hard.
It is.
And the changing culture. You cannot parent like I parented because the culture's too different.
Right.
I don't know how to parent like you guys have to parent. Now I'm having to be a grandparent to that same culture. So I'm having to learn and adapt. And it's like, get out of your phone and talk to me, you know? So I kind of
Put it down.
Put the blooming thing down and
Yeah.
talk to me. Look at me. And they don't even really know how to carry on a conversation unless it's this way.
Right.
Right.
And so it's a completely different culture that I do not envy you girls at all. And Rita's, you got little kids.
Yes.
Sandra, I don't know how old yours
Mine's
are.
11.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
getting
so
to the
it's a
teens.
totally different world.
Yeah.
And so that's where I'm finding God leading me today, is in that just be the light that they need, be the love that they don't get. My poor granddaughters, the struggle for acceptance. And I pray, God, protect them, because I see almost what they're willing to do for that acceptance.
Yes.
And it's like, God, protect them, because I don't want them
Right.
to do what they feel they have to do for
Right.
acceptance.
Exactly.
And you just keep pouring into them that you are amazing, you are beautiful, you know, all the things that they need to hear, that someone's got to do it.
Right.
And so that's where I feel like he's leading me today.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. That was
Well,
beautiful.
thank you.
So
Yeah,
beautiful.
it is
Beautiful.
It's such a critical time, our world.
It really
It
is
is.
with social media, and
Yes.
social media is good. It can be really good, but then it also has the downside of it. And
Horrible downside.
I mean, I catch myself doing it all the time, you
Yeah.
know, and then I wonder why I'm so not content. You know, I'm
Right.
like, what's next? What do I got to do now? And
Right.
how do I get here? And
Right, exactly. And the comparison.
the comparison.
Oh
is
my
huge.
goodness, the comparison is awful through
is
social
awful.
media. And it's so fake.
Yeah.
It's so fake. It is not, and yet
It's not realistic.
It's not real.
At
And yet
all.
that's what we're comparing. Every minute of our day, we're comparing to what we think it should be.
Right.
Right.
It's very true.
There's a lie.
That's
It's
very
an
true.
illusion.
That's very true. You're
And
absolutely
and
right.
that's what our poor children are doing on a daily basis.
That's true.
You know,
Sad.
TikTok is. I am now on TikTok. I'm really cool. I'm really cool. I even did a
I'm really
dance with
cool.
my granddaughter, and it's on TikTok, and she got, I don't know, a lot of views on it.
Oh,
I'm a superstar now, Riley. But-
What's your TikTok handle? Can we have it? Is it like a public TikTok?
well, I've never done anything on it. I'd have to look it up, but
Okay.
yes, I'll give it to
Well,
you.
we'll put it on.
And I'm
We'll
now
put it
on
on for you.
Snapchat.
Oh.
Because if I'm going to talk to her, I've got to talk to her through Snapchat.
Snapchat.
Yep.
So
Send her
I'm
some-
Snapchat. I don't even
They
know
have
that
some
one
good
either.
filters, though. They have some funny filters.
They've
that
got
you
some
can
funny
use.
filters.
Send her
But,
some
yeah.
funny filter pics.
So I'm trying to stay relevant
Yes.
so that they will talk to me.
Absolutely.
Stay relevant so that when
You
they,
don't want to lose them.
yeah, and that I'm not totally shocked when they say something to me.
Yeah, my boys are calling me bruh.
Yeah.
I'm
yeah,
like,
Yeah.
what?
yeah.
Yes.
Like, what?
Yeah, when Riley said something about being bougie, and I said, "Is that good? Are you dissing on me right now, or is that a good thing?" Oh no, Nana, that's cool. You're bougie.
You're bougie. Bougie is
Bougie
cool.
is cool. Yes.
yeah,
we
bougie's cool.
didn't
So
know that.
That's funny.
that was good. But all the
love it.
terms that I'm having to learn to stay.
Oh, it's a whole different dialect out
it's
there
a
right
whole
now.
different dialect.
Yes.
Right.
Oh, man.
Sometimes when I have conversations with younger kids, they'll come in with their parents or, you know, come in for a brow wax or something, but they'll say, I can't even say what they say because it doesn't even register.
Right.
But I'm like, what is that? And they're
Right.
like, oh, it just means that it looks good. And
Right.
I'm like,
You're
oh,
like,
okay.
oh, cool.
Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
I'm trying to remember the other thing she says all the time that I can't even remember because it doesn't stick, like you said.
Yeah.
But it was another good thing.
I love that. I love that. I love that. Thank you so much for being here, Marsha. We really appreciate it. I mean, every time you speak, I like freeze because I know you're going to
know.
say something amazing. But is there something you want to leave our viewers and our listeners with before we end today?
I think if I could talk to everyone in the world, I would just say, quit stressing so much about success and just be present in the moment and obedient. Just be obedient to what you feel to do today, and God will take care of tomorrow.
I love it.
And be present.
Yeah.
You know, whether it's with your kids or be just present with God. Be in the moment and trust Him. Trust Him with tomorrow.
I love that.
I love that.
That's beautiful.
That is
Thank you.
really
You're
amazing.
welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you, Marsha.
Thank you guys for tuning in today. Remember to be bold
Be brave
and be
be
better.
better.
We'll see you guys next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye.